Hello and welcome to the NextPlay podcast, a gaming and pop culture podcast brought to you by the NextPlay team. I'm your host, Brad, and joining me today is Berto
Hello.
and a very special guest, Kerry from Minimap AU.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hello, this is your first time on the show. Do you want to give everyone a little introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure thing. My name's Kerry. I'm a full-time freelance video editor and producer. Most of my work has been on IGN.com. I make a lot of guide videos there. And in my spare time, which is increasingly I have increasingly less and less of it as I grow older, but in my spare time, I'm doing stuff at minimap.com.au, which I co-founded with a bunch of my mates from uni back in the day, which is still going. I think, has Jeremy been on the show before?
He has a
Yeah.
couple times.
Yeah, cool. So Jeremy's my counterpart basically over there running Minimap. So yeah, we were running the Minimap cast pretty frequently for a while, and we just resuscitated it yesterday. We just sort of got it back up and
Yes.
running after a little hiatus, which was really fun. So I'm in the podcasting groove. I was podcasting last night. I'm here again tonight. I'm ready for it. It's good.
You've got that itch and you can't get rid of it now.
And you
On
put the call out for Final Fantasy nerds, and
I
I was like, oh, I have to put my hand up. I can't ignore
Good.
this.
Well,
I'd
we're
love to
very
learn more
glad to
about it.
have you here. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to know more about that.
Mm. On today's show, we will be discussing all things Final Fantasy, our favorite, our least favorite, and what we want to see from Final Fantasy 17. Final Fantasy 17 doesn't sound right, does it? It sounds too big of a number now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
does.
scary.
Yeah, it is.
Mm. But first, a message from me. Hello, it's Brad here. Did you know 9 out of 10 dentists recommend supporting NextPlay? Here's how. If you're watching on YouTube, press the subscribe button right there. Seriously, it's right there. And if you're listening on an audio streaming service, make sure to give us a 5-star review. And you can check out all of our content at next-play.com.au or via our socials at nextplayau, just about everywhere. Thanks for the support, and let's get back into the show. Thanks, me. Just kick off the show, we will do what we always do and talk about what we've been playing, listening to, or watching. Berto, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'm pretty boring, so it's best to start low and then
Well,
work your way up.
yeah.
So I haven't really watched anything exciting, so you can remove that, except for K-pop Demon Hunters, which I spoke about last week.
Mm.
I think I'm up to viewing 100 because of my little ones. Yeah, got nothing. I still love it, still like listening to it. I never thought I'd ever say those words in a sentence for K-pop Demon Hunters, but it is what it is, and I'm in it for the ride. Gaming wise, I fired up Kirby for the Switch 2 last week. Just barely like touched the surface, like legit. Have not broken water on that one. But initially, already just from playing the demo on the Switch to the Switch 2, obviously it looks so much more cleaner. However, there are a few things that I noticed, but I'll leave that for the review at the end when I finally get my teeth into it. Um, and then Lies of P finally. So just so you know, Kerry, I got Lies of P to review, and I had to restart the whole game from the beginning to get to the
Oh,
point
no.
where I could access a DLC. And I had been bragging for the past few weeks how easy it was. And then I got to the DLC, and it is insanely hard.
They
It
heard
is
what you were
stupid hard.
saying, and they cranked it for you.
I celebrated too soon, so I thought I already had the trophy and the ribbons, but no. Yeah, in instantly just, and maybe I will talk about it in my review. Just the level of the curve just increases to a degree that I was not prepared for. But damn, it felt good again to have something real fresh. It looks great. I think I'll be done with it by the weekend. It is, I have played quite a lot of it now because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. But Jesus Christ, it's hard. It's so hard. It's not even funny.
What was the
But
sort
I'm
of
enjoying
longest
it.
period you were like stuck for? How long were you stuck in one of these
Two and a
bosses
half
or something?
hours, maybe 3 hours. Yeah.
Oof.
So overnight, couldn't get it. Then the next morning, tried it again, and it got to the state where, when you've so obsessed to try to get it done, you turn more logical. So everything turns into like move sets. You don't even look at your character. You just look at how they move, and you just react. And it worked.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I became a robot just for that moment.
Well, I'm glad you. Well, I'm not glad you're not doing well at it, but we will
I
hear
enjoy the
more
pain.
about that next week, I'm sure. Kerry, what have you been playing?
So I did the crazy thing of seeing the Silksong trailer 2 weeks ago. I went, I could fit in a playthrough of Hollow Knight, and so I've been. I think I looked at my save today. I'm at about 27 hours.
Wow.
I played it once in 2019, really enjoyed it.
Mm.
But I was talking about this with Jeremy a bit yesterday, where it's like I realized playing it the second time, mostly at my computer, that when I played it originally, I came away going, "Oh, that was pretty good." It's a bit annoying at times, bit like some of these bosses are so hard, it's a bit not responsive and stuff like that. And I realized my old setup like 6 years ago with the projector I had was introducing a lot of latency. And it turns out it was fine for most games, but Hollow Knight is just too punishing if you've got any sort of
Yeah.
gunk in the works there. So it's been really nice to get sort of the intended experience with Hollow Knight this time around, and also having a bit more of a memory and an idea of like, oh, I think I have to go get this upgrade in this area next. Having a bit more direction sort of helped me sort of tunnel vision it a bit, which was good. But it has been, yeah, I've enjoyed it much more the second time around, and I am very excited for Silksong, which is it's like almost 24 hours away at the time of us recording this. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's finally here, and it's interesting because I watched a trailer, yeah, nearly 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, it looks great. They've been clearly working hard. Looks like more Hollow Knight. Cool. Full playthrough of the game later. I haven't done like the true ending yet. I've got a little bit of challenging stuff to do still, but I've done a lot of it. I'm at like 90% completion. And I watched the trailer again yesterday, having done all of that, and I was like, oh, look at how much more they've done. Look at all these places, these enemies. Look how Hornet moves. Look at the UI. All of these bosses. All of us. Like I can see all of these extra layers of depth now that I wasn't appreciating 2 weeks ago. So I am actually quite glad I've dived into this. But yeah, it's been good. There's been some of the like really, really, really challenging bosses that I remember doing last time that I was like really proud of, sort of bashing my head against the wall and learning it and getting better slowly and getting through it. And I got to those same bosses at the same points this time around. And after like 45 minutes on this one boss that was the hardest for me to beat last time, I was like, you know what? I'm playing this a bit more thoroughly. I'm going to come back with like a stronger weapon and more health, and this is going to be a better time. I don't need to prove to myself that I can do this. I'll be back later. And I'm glad I did that. I think it preserved my sanity somewhat, so I could just sort of keep moving, keep the momentum. But yeah, that's been me the last 2 weeks basically. A little bit of Metal Gear here, and a little bit on the Switch 2 there, and that's kind of it. But mostly Hollow Knight, yeah.
So last week I broke the news to everyone. I haven't played Hollow Knight. So
Shocking.
I had it in my head maybe I should play Hollow Knight before Silksong. And then I rewound back a couple years ago, just before Horizon Forbidden West came out. I played Horizon Zero Dawn for the first time. And then when Forbidden West came out, I was like, you know what? I don't really want to do this all over again.
Yeah.
It just not that like Forbidden West obviously like evolved Zero Dawn quite a little bit, but it still felt very similar. And I was like, this is too big for me right now. I don't want to play it. Still haven't gone back to it, unfortunately, but you know, there's other games to play.
Oh, totally. Horizon's another one of those ones I always start and I never finish. Like it took me like 5 years to finish Zero Dawn.
Me too. I think I started it like 3 separate times before that final playthrough where I actually got past like the first few hours of it.
Yeah.
And it was worth it. It was very good.
Mm. So are you planning to dive into Silksong then this weekend or sometime this month?
I might buy it. The day it comes out, I have work off, so I might buy it and just dabble a little bit just to see what everyone's. I don't know. I don't want to feel left out.
That's the
Everyone
thing,
else is going to be playing it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Everyone will be.
It's so fascinating seeing how the sort of the culmination of this
Mm,
fervor and this hype that's
mm,
been bubbling, not even that under the surface, like quite obviously for the last couple of
Yeah.
years now, and it's
mm.
like it's finally coming to a head. It's I think it's going to be a really interesting week or two, especially because there's no reviews. Like we're all going to
Yeah.
be playing it together.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely probably the the biggest launch of the year, I would say.
Mm.
Um,
Yep.
and like one that not rivals GTA 6, but you don't see many games this like hyped up because we've
Yeah,
just been waiting so long for it.
yeah. It's maybe like the indie
Yeah.
version of GTA 6. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Really is.
Yeah. Back to what I've been playing. So I have been playing Final Fantasy VII, the original, on YouTube. You can check out my playthrough on youtube.com/ at NextPlayAU. I just got Yuffie,
Mhm.
which is cool. I haven't used her yet because when I got her, she was a few levels higher than everyone else. And I was like, I don't want to leave anyone behind. So haven't used her yet. Um, yeah, just I keep plodding along. I'm in Junon where uh, Cloud dresses up as a Shinra and participates in the parade and etc. Which was a little frustrating. The mini games in the original were absolutely awful.
oh no.
That in Rebirth they did such a good job not to make them frustrating and almost impossible to work out. So that made me appreciate Rebirth even more than I do, if that was possible. I've also been playing for review Lost Soul Aside, and I've been a little underwhelmed. A
I'm
little
Yeah,
underwhelmed.
right.
I've been so
Really?
interested to hear about this game because it's been like
Yeah.
silence for like months.
It has. And it was, I mean, the first worrying point was when no one got a review code until literally a few hours before the game came out.
Mm.
And I can see why, but also I feel like even now with no reviews, I feel like no one's really talking about it,
Yeah.
positively at least. To put it short, the voice acting is awful. The combat's the strongest part, although like the encounters do feel a lot samey all the time. I was expecting it to feel a little bit more like Final Fantasy 16,
Mm.
or like Devil May Cry. It does feel a little bit like that, but the enemies kind of just have like very similar move sets, which just really doesn't make it interesting.
Mm.
And like the protagonist himself is not very interesting either. Um, the game looks good though. I'm playing on PS5 Pro. I know a few people online have been saying that it doesn't look good, but I think it does. And I've had very little performance issues too. So I'm about
Nice.
probably 8, 9 hours in. I have no idea how long this game is, so it
I was
doesn't
gonna
seem
ask
long
you
based
that.
on the story. From what I can tell, the story is you have to like collect 4 different things from 4 different places, and I think I've almost got the second one, so it's probably like 20 to 30 hours. I'd assume.
I
But
was, I
yeah,
was going to ask how many hours you had when you were saying the enemy movesets were similar. I was thinking, oh, maybe it gets like more interesting later, but like 8 or 9 hours in, and you're feeling that's not a good sign.
yeah. Like I'm not getting bored playing it, but like I want a little bit more from it, and I don't think I'm gonna get that.
Hmm. Damn.
Yeah. In terms of watching, I'll quickly look at my letterboxd. I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, the original, a few days ago. Pretty good.
Does it hold
Um,
up?
I gave it a 2.5, so do with that what you will. I thought it was all right. I think I enjoy like the horror movies of that era. There's a lot more I enjoy more than this.
Yeah.
It just it didn't feel predictable, but like I okay, so you guys know the Scary Movie franchise, the like comedy horror.
The funny
I
one. Yeah.
think I think that ruined this movie for me because I think the first one or second one is based off this, and I knew what was gonna happen
Ah,
before it happened.
you'd seen the
Um,
Yeah.
parody first.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's funny as.
I committed a sin. uh, so yeah, that maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. I also watched Flight Risk, which has Mark Wahlberg in it. Um, I gave that 1.5 out of 5.
Oh
It
dear.
Yeah,
wasn't.
right.
It was a hard watch. It was. That's all I'll say about that. All right, let's go straight into the main topic of the show, Final
Mm.
Fantasy, even though we've been talking about it already. All right, so we're going to talk about a few different things about this series. We're going to talk about our favorite Final Fantasy games. But first, let's go around the room and tell everyone what our first Final Fantasy game was. So mine was 10. Kerry?
Mine was also 10. Yeah, and I was
Okay,
would have been 9 at the time.
nice. First
Mine was
time I played
6.
6. Mm.
Illegally.
Um,
With Shad.
the first time I played Final Fantasy X, I rented it from Video Easy. I think it was like a weekly release. And for some reason at that point we didn't have a memory card, so we kept our PS2 on the entire time we hired it because we
Yeah,
couldn't
right.
save it. And then we'd hire it again like a month later and have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So actually playing through the game, I was a bit older than that when I was an adult. And yeah, that quickly became my favorite Final Fantasy game. So yeah, we'll go back to Final Fantasy X later. Berto, what's your favorite
Mm.
Final Fantasy game?
Do I have to choose one? Is that like
I mean, you can
because it
choose
says
a few.
games?
I've got a
Said
few
SFPS is
here.
plural.
I've got a few on my end, so sure, go for it.
Yeah, I thought so. So it's 6 for me, and I mentioned cheekily that I played it illegal because it was true. I'm a bit older, Kerry. Just so you know, I don't look it. I look much more younger. But anyway, I'm old as hell. Um, Final Fantasy VII was just released, and I was a N64 kid. So this is 97, I think, maybe. Um, and one of my neighbors, he had got the emulators and ROMs on his PC and stuff like that. And he showed me all these games and stuff like that, right? Anyway, I went down there, bearing in mind I only had like N64, so it didn't have many games back then until Ocarina. And he's like, oh yeah, check out this, check out all these games that I can play. And he was showing me everything. And I remember vividly, he showed me Chrono Trigger, and then he showed me Final Fantasy VI. And but it wasn't Final Fantasy VI, it was Final Fantasy 3, because in
Of course,
America,
right.
they had that thing. And I was like, so confused, because I was like, didn't 7 just come out? Like what happened to 1, 2, and the rest? Anyway, I saw 3, and I was like, geez, you got to show me how to do this. And then next thing I knew, I just kept, he showed me how to set it up on my little crappy Pentium PC that ended up eating it alive. But yeah, I was just playing Final Fantasy 6, my first one, which is also my favorite one. I'll talk a lot more into it as we get into it, but yeah, it was for me. Chrono Trigger was better game. I enjoyed it more, but I loved Final Fantasy 6, and I think that art style is what sold me to my love of 16-bit graphics and story and music and just the way that it's presented. I don't know if I want to spoil Final Fantasy 6, but
Please don't. I'm planning to
uh,
play it soon.
it's hard to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's at the time when you think about it, it's a little bit more realistic into how the story evolved, where
Mm.
you know there is good and evil, but it doesn't really always work out the way that you expect it to work out. You know, it
Mm.
goes on a different adventure and then it leads you back. That's not
How
spoiling
ominous.
anything.
That's a great sell. That's great.
I'm trying here, um, and I appreciated what it was, and then yeah, so that's my favorite one, and I also have a couple of shout outs, just three more. I just looked at my notes. I actually made notes.
11
Kerry, I
more.
don't make notes. I wing it. I wing
Yeah.
it. So number 9
Mm.
is my second favorite, and really similar story to you, Brad, where I had to hire it. I had to hire a PlayStation as well because I didn't have it,
Oh.
and I think I hired it for a month, and it was
Mm.
I believe summer, summer break, and my friends had all gone away anyway. So I was like, okay, well, I've got nothing to do, so I'll hire it and play it. And I just fell in love with that whole story. It just felt like 6 again, but obviously a little bit more advanced
Mm.
Mm.
um, in the story. And you love 9, Brad, so I'm
I
not
love
sure
it.
which one you do, Kerry, but yeah, that one was great. I think it's that whole. It resonated with me because it reminded me of the old school way, which
Mm.
is my similar love to like even Hollow Knight, how we were mentioning, like that reminds me of Metroid. So it's like
Mm.
memory unlocked.
Mm.
My other shout out was actually really random. I didn't mind 16. I didn't hate it. But I do want to shout it out because it's often neglected, and I'll rant about this at the one of our other points. Because I think it didn't get as much love as it should have for what it
It
was, but
kind
I
of came
understand
and went,
why.
didn't it?
Yeah, but I understand why at the same time. Like I get
Yeah.
it.
Mm. Mm.
But I do want to shout it out because that really made me enjoy the boss fights. Like a lot of boss fights in gamings were so I don't know. Apart from the whole Dark Souls and Souls like games where it's like, yes, I felt accomplished to a certain degree. Like this one really made me feel like, man, I'm working my ass off just to get to this point, and
Yeah.
it's continuously going. So again, equally as impressive. Reminded me of the old school. There's a theme that I have here.
Yeah.
And my last one is 8. Um, not in any particular order. I just liked 8 because it was so different, and I like different things. I don't like things that are too samey or generic. And I think it tried something, didn't pull it off to the best of its ability, but I remember its story the most, and
Mm.
its amazing beginning as well. The full motion videos, the FMVs were awesome at the time. I was like, this is graphics can't get any better, mum, And then obviously you look at Final Fantasy 16, it like craps all over it. So
Well, yeah.
yeah, a bit of a range, but general theme
Mm.
is like it's. I guess it's more. I love the traditional aspect of it. I like how it keeps to the same names. Like the the summons, all
Mm.
the same throughout. Like you see
And
Ifrit from
Sid.
beginning to end. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sid, very different, and especially in 16. So like yeah, I just love the way that it's kept that history just perpetually moving along. Although yeah, we can talk a lot about the bad stuff, which we will soon. But yeah, that's the good.
Mm.
Very good. Kerry. What about you?
So, I feel like in sort of contrast to Birdo's picks here, I feel like I never really went back before 10. I've been wanting
Mm.
to for years now, but I've never
Mm.
done it. So I feel like I've got more of a modern Final Fantasy lens in terms of my
It's a good thing.
experience with them.
Mm.
Obviously, I loved 10 when it first came out, or when I first was experiencing it. We had a very similar experience where my brother and my cousin rented it. They were playing it all night one night, and I was much younger than my brother, so I was in bed and sleeping. And when I woke up, they were still playing it. They didn't know how to level up. Didn't understand the
Oh my
sphere
goodness.
grid tutorial.
Oh.
And so when I came downstairs at like hour 9, they were just getting. They're basically at the point where you really can't do that anymore. Just after Luca, and they're like, I don't understand. It's just like we're not even. It's so hard. And then they were so excited when they figured out what the problem was. So yeah, very fond of 10. But honestly, I was checking with myself today to make sure whether this is still what I think, and it is. But one of my favorite Final Fantasy game right now, and I'm pretty sure it's my favorite game of all time currently, and it has been for the last 5 years, is Remake, Final Fantasy VII
Mm.
Yeah,
Remake.
right.
And I do think Rebirth didn't take its spot, even though I think it is more competent in a lot of areas.
Mm.
But it's hard to underestimate right place at the right time. And
Mm.
Remake came through like 2 or 3 weeks into when the pandemic was really kicking off for real in
Yeah,
Australia.
it did.
A couple of weeks after Animal Crossing came
really?
out and Doom. And we got it,
Yeah.
if you'll remember, I was working at EB Games when this came out, so this is like seared into my brain. But like
Oh, yeah.
we got it like 10 days early in Australia compared to the rest of the world because of like
We did,
shipping
yes.
issues. Yeah, because like
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
you're
Japan, there
right.
was like, we have to ship it now or we're not going to be able to get it out. And so we
Hmm.
got it early. And it was like, oh my God, we've got it early. Maybe I can review it for the site. And like, I don't have it ready for embargo because we didn't get a code. But I was like, maybe I can get like, it's nice to feel like I'm not going to be like 6 weeks late kind of a thing when you're
Yeah.
running your own website. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
going to make the most of this. And I didn't have that much else to do. And it was then coupled with how wonderfully cinematic and paced it is. And not being familiar with the originals, being introduced to all these characters in the world. Yeah, I really, really, really love Remake and Rebirth as well, but Remake still sits above it for me.
Well, while we're on that topic, I'll talk about Rebirth as that's one of my favorite. I guess Remake and Rebirth together as well. I don't know.
The kind of continuations. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just recently, starting the original Final Fantasy VII, as I said before, made me appreciate Remake and Rebirth so much. How much extra world building those two games have, extra dialogue. Like, you get to really explore some characters that maybe don't last as long as they do in the original game.
Mm.
Yeah, I do love so far the original Final Fantasy VII, but I don't think I could love it more than Remake and Rebirth, and I'm very excited for the third installment, whatever that may be. And I think the remakes, I think there's a really good sweet spot in the combat between like kind of the active and the turn-based together. I think it's so like having that shortcut button for like abilities, it's just feels so good. Like
Mm.
I will probably argue that it's probably the best combat system in all the Final Fantasy games. I can't actually think of anything that would trump that.
I would
And
second
yeah,
that with you. I would agree.
yeah.
I
It's
agree
just
too.
it feels
It
so
really is.
perfect.
It is.
There's nothing I would change about it. And back to Final Fantasy X, everyone who has ever listened to one episode of the Next Play podcast knows it's my favorite game ever.
Yep.
I think the sphere grid is one of the best leveling systems in a Final Fantasy game and probably ever. And like even having that option to use the expert sphere grid where you can make Lulu as strong as Auron is, or you could make Titus a black mage for whatever reason. It just really it did encourage replayability in that sense. And it's got one of those stories where you experience it, and then if you replay it again, you pick up on so much you didn't know before. It's just one of those games that really truly benefits from a second playthrough. And this, like, yeah, I'm not gonna go into spoilers, obviously, but it makes me cry multiple times every time I play it. I play it at least almost every year to some extent. I might not finish it every year, but I do go back and play it again over and over. And sharing your love for Final Fantasy IX, Berto, also a game I recently played, it has become my top 3. The story is just brilliant. I did feel like the combat was a little bit slow at times. Like even playing Final Fantasy VII, which came out before it, that still feels quicker to me than Final Fantasy IX. So I'm not sure what the go with that was, but I also think VV might be one of the best characters ever in video games. Full stop.
Far out.
And you just played it recently too.
Yeah, the character arc VV has is tremendous, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone could play that game and not have that same thought.
Yeah,
Carrie, you need to play it.
Yeah, I mean, what all these conversations, this conversation right now is just cementing in me this idea of like, well, time to start at the start. Time to get to it.
And sorry, circling back to Final Fantasy X, I love the cast of characters. Like they're very iconic. The party, the bosses, Seymour is such a I was going to use a word, but I'd have to bleep it. So, yeah, and
he's
the
the one
world
with
of
the crazy
Spirit too.
hair, eh? Crazy
Yeah.
haircut, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the world of Spirit too. It's just so fun to explore, and you can do that in the sequel as well, which kind of I'm not going to talk about the sequel, but it's still fun, like exploring that world again and seeing the aftermath of what happened in 10. All right, so we are going to pick a few games that we haven't played but want to. Kerry, I'm going back to you because your answer might have changed in just this discussion.
Final Fantasy 15. No. I think so. Not just because of this conversation, but like I said, Berto, you did an excellent sell before. But I've always heard the praises of 6, and I've always thought like if I've got to go back, maybe like because part of my problem I think is because I grew up. I like my first console when I was like 3 was a 64. Like that's sort of my age bracket, and I never really got to sink into a bunch of games from the NES or SNES era. There aren't many older 2D games that I've really gone back to and really enjoyed. Super Metroid is one of the rare examples, I would cite. And so because of that, it's hard to get me back there. Even although, again, like I want to. But 6 has always been this one. It's like, if I'm going to pick one, everyone says 6 is great. I mean, some people say good things about 4 and 3 as well. 3, 4, and 6, I feel like the 2D ones I've heard the most about. But 6 especially. So 6 is always pretty high up on the list. 7 sits in a weird spot because like I've played 2/3 of it now, and also Crisis Core. So I know like a bit more than what the two remake games have given in terms of like Cloud's full story is kind of a bit more explained in Crisis Core, but I still haven't played the original. So I'm in this really weird spot of like knowing too much but not enough. And should I play the whole thing now ahead of the third one? I'm starting to think I might, because the ending of the second one was somehow even more confusing than the first, and maybe the context would help. But yeah, I'm still a bit on the fence with 7. But if I would pick another one after that, probably 8. 8 is one where it's like, I hear people say they love it so much, but also at the same time, it's not something I see very much in terms of whether I'm on YouTube or people talking about it.
It's actually a bit polarizing in the Final Fantasy community. People either just deny its existence or they love it.
Yeah, it's because of the battle. It's the battle. That's it. It's the way that the battle system is different. So like 7 and 9 shared the same chemistry, but 8 was like, let's try something different.
I did try playing Final Fantasy 8 a couple years ago, and the battle system confused me. So that's why I stopped playing. And I'm sure just some other game came along too, as they do. But yeah, like I do want to go back and play it. But
yeah, it's so funny, and you know, it's kind of like, who would want the job of following up Final Fantasy VII? You know, like that's so hard. Like that they did something that was able to hang, at least in some sense, even if it was quite a bit, as you said, Berto, quite polarizing at the time.
Like some advice for 8 that I would give, and I think it's because I replayed it recently, meaning like 5-6 years ago. Don't like, and I don't think it's spoilers either. Don't level up. Like genuinely play it like play it. Yeah, just don't play to the battle system. Just do your own thing if you can, because it can be broken. That's the problem. And once it breaks, it becomes quite simple,
right? To
a degree where it just becomes just a normal Final Fantasy game. You know what I mean? The more you delve into it, the harder it becomes. It's a weird, complex system, but there is an actual, perhaps, guide even on how to get to that certain specific point where you can just smash
how to
your way
enjoy the
through
game.
Yeah, like because it is, you can almost break the game by trying too hard. It sounds weird, but it's how it was made, I suppose.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll keep it in mind. I'll see if I get there. I really do want to get through them, but it's a big task.
It is.
I would say 15. I did give 15 a red hot go like 2 or 3 years ago, and I fell off pretty quick, like 4 or 5 hours in. I'm like, I think I'm gonna uninstall this 100 gigabyte game off my PlayStation.
It's huge.
Yeah, and it just didn't really do much for me, really. But I liked 16.
Yeah, I get that with 15. It's a bit, people call it the boy band game, and it kind of is. Like, I don't know, it almost didn't feel like a Final Fantasy game to me.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah,
I did enjoy it, and I did get the platinum trophy for it, but it's definitely not in my top 10, I'd say.
Yeah.
No.
It's pretty low.
It seems to be very much based on the vibes, of which I didn't feel there were many. It's just like...
Yeah. I enjoyed it when I was playing it, but I'll never replay it again, I'd say. Yeah, I wouldn't. Berto, what is a Final Fantasy game or games that you haven't played but still want to? You've played a lot of them though, haven't you?
played pretty much all of them. 14. That's my answer.
Yeah.
And I think we have a consistent theme going on so far, which is time and word of mouth. So I have no time, and the word of mouth is so strong with 14 that it's like people have sold it for me. Like, I don't even need to understand anything else other than, the greatest narrative or whatever. Like, fantastic. Um, I just don't have time for an MMO, and it's weird how historically they decide to make a mainline one as an MMO. Two of them,
Yeah.
they sold extremely well. 11 did,
Mm.
and 14 went through that phase of total complete failure, and this,
Mm,
phoenix, pun intended, that arose from it. So
mm,
like, I've always wanted to give it a go, but I don't think I ever will. Um, I just do not have the time with
Yeah.
with my little one. So I I hope maybe one day when how you have that hope that you'll retire and you'll play games till you're old, and I hope our Final Fantasy 14 is one of them. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll probably be at Final Fantasy 25 by then, but we'll see.
Speaking of numbers being too big.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. As for
Yeah,
me,
14's an interesting one.
yeah,
Mm.
it is that like that's another game I would want to play, but just time doesn't permit. And yeah,
Yeah.
and like I like MMOs. I had that World of Warcraft phase. I had a Guild Wars 2 phase as well. Like I love MMOs. I love Final Fantasy. I should be spending every spare moment playing Final Fantasy 14, but I can't because I own a games website.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy keeping it going.
No,
I remember
but
I gave 14 a red hot go. Again,
mm,
this was
Mm.
like 3 or 4 years ago.
mm,
I think this is all in the lead up. I'm remembering now. I think this is in the lead up to 16, and
Mm.
I gave it about 10 hours. But it's 10 hours of like the base game, Realm Reborn, before you get to the expansions, which is when everyone starts to say,
yeah,
"Oh, have you played Heavensward? Have you played Stormblood? Have you
That
played
one.
Endwalker?"
Yeah.
And like that's like 60 hours in, and the Realm Reborn is like okay, but it's like pretty simple MMO fare in terms of
mm,
like what you're getting. So 10 hours in, I'm still like grabbing pumpkins and beaver tails and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I need a bit more. I need an accelerator. I need to crank this thing for a minute to get past all this guff. And yeah, I
yeah,
just fell off.
yeah. I feel like it would be hard to like, because yeah, I've heard you have to put in a lot of hours to get to where it like really like the peak of it.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like I'd only be able to like start from scratch if I had like a group of friends with me as well to make it less tedious
Hmm.
doing
Yeah.
those early quests. Yeah, so as for me, Final Fantasy VI is on my list. There will be a YouTube playthrough of that at some point. I think early next year I have it penciled in, so still a while away. Um, and
No spoilers.
controversially, yeah, watch me not even do it. Uh, controversially, Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. So I think I
Mm.
played maybe the first 10 hours of the first Final Fantasy 13 and I stopped. Not because
Hmm.
I didn't like it. It's just I think my brother owned the game and I just wasn't able to continue playing.
Hmm.
And I was still pretty young too, I think. So um yeah, it just wasn't like meant to be. Um but yeah, I do enjoy Lightning as a character. And I do want to see where her story ended up going. Uh, because apparently that warranted 3 games, which is weird because it's probably one of the least favorite of the franchise.
I'll
What
never
are they called again?
understand why they did that. You know,
No,
it never made sense to me.
I think it was the lightning that made that happen. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
as I think we said it a few weeks ago, Final Fantasy only has 2 games with a female protagonist, and I feel like maybe female protagonists were like pretty uh scarce back then, but I feel like around that time they were picking up like this might be too late, but like the Tomb Raider reboot, etc. I think that was a
Yeah.
bit later. I'm not sure, but
No, it's a good point. And then like Heavenly Sword on PS3, that was around. I think that was before this one. So
mm,
yeah, I think you're right. It's around that time.
mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll always stump for
Kerry,
13.
I was gonna say you've played it, haven't you?
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's far from my least favorite as well.
Mm,
I have a respect for it that I feel like it earned for me, if that makes
mm,
any sense.
That's interesting.
It's funny. I played it when I was younger as a teenager, a few years after the fact when I had a bit more like disposable income, and it was a bit cheaper. But I was fascinated by it from the start, just with the style and that sort of high tech setting. I hadn't played Seven, um, so I hadn't played a Final Fantasy game with that kind of style before, and
mm,
yeah, I think it after 10 and 7 for me in terms of the more modern games, it's got the strongest ensemble. Um, what's funny is I went back and played it 2 or 3 years ago now, again, sort of in the lead up to this other stuff, and I played. I was on the Series X, so I had all the back and pat goodness for that one. And I got
yeah.
up to the point where they say it opens up, and that's where all the diehards say it gets good. And
Yeah.
I played through that initially the first time when I played it when I was a teenager and played through the whole game and finished it. But when I got to that point this time, I knew what I was in for, which was like a pretty narrow open world section, all things considered, compared to what came
Mm,
before. It's like vast,
mm,
but
mm,
I knew it's a lot of like monster hunting quests and like
Yep.
bounties kind of a thing, and um yeah, I was like, actually, I don't think I'm really up for this. But you kind of need to do a decent bit of it to level up because they expect you to
mm,
get in there and explore. Um, but I actually kind of prefer that game meeting it on its terms with the more linear storytelling, linear level design, uh, and getting more of those cutscenes. Like that's part of
mm.
why it's so good is because you get so many of the cutscenes of the characters interacting with each other and exploring that
Yeah.
dynamic and breaking off into different groups of 2 or 3 and how they've wronged each other in the past and try to reconcile. Like I do really enjoy that cast and that storytelling and the moments. Plus, I think it's I was gonna say maybe the best soundtrack, but that's an old thought from before remake. I think remake soundtrack is peerless. It's
It
absolutely
Yeah.
is
unparalleled.
very
It
good.
really is. Yeah.
But 13
That is the best
soundtrack
one.
is very, very strong. It deserves to be right up there with 10 and 7 and all the other classics. It's really good.
Yeah. All
I
right.
wonder if I should say how I feel about 13 as a segue
Yeah,
to the next
go.
topic.
Okay, well, we've talked positively about pretty much all the games so far, and now we're going to turn that upside down and talk about the games we didn't enjoy. Birdo.
Yeah. So the flip of the coin, 13
Hmm.
for me is my least enjoyed video game out of all. And it all comes down to identity, in my opinion. This is where I feel that Final Fantasy decided to become more substance than soul. Everything looked good. It looked great. The
Mm.
battle theme is probably my favorite battle theme out of all Final Fantasy games. Like music is, as you mentioned, like phenomenal. But like in terms of how it was presented to be this beautiful linear story was not true to its soul, in my opinion. And I think being an older gamer, which is really boring when you think about it, just like having that perspective on what it was, and I'm always open minded for what it can be. I just felt like they went too far. Like, and then the sequels came out, so it was like they were doubling down on what it should be. And
Mm.
you know, they had 12, which was like this awkward teenager point of like change from 10, because he has a few things that 10 does, but he has a few things that 11 does, and he has a few things that the 13 eventually did.
Mm,
um, but yeah, just 13 didn't do it for me. Like I played it from beginning to end. I on the Xbox 360. um, got heaps of achievements. Haven't gone back to it, so obviously my mind
Mm.
might be a little bit changed, but I feel uninspired from the whole situation. Like when it does open up, it was great, but I think to get to that point, it was like 30 hours or something like that. Um, from memory, I could be wrong, but like, and then
It's
after
something
that,
like that. Yeah.
and then the bosses, I don't even remember the last boss. I think it's quite unmemorable. I think it's just faces or something like that. It felt really, it was all right. Yeah. So like, see what I mean? Like I don't remember the good. Not the good is the music, 100%. The good is the way that the graphics look, but it was trying to be an anime, and that's cool. Because I think the lead character designer, Nomura, he was mostly in control of that whole 13, Lightning Returns in the other one. I don't even know what it's called. Lightning Come Home or whatever. I don't know. I'm just making that up.
Lightning.
But like, like I'm just saying, like they had created so much to the character, to they needed to kind of like financially do it in order to get some sort of return on investment. That's what I think they did. I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, 13. No, I didn't
That
like
was
it.
also
And
that
15.
confusing time period where they had 13 verses, which is what became 15.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is my other one is 15. So like, again, identity, right? Like they try to do something in order to stand out by changing the battle mechanics so many times in order to fit this. Let's look out like an anime. Let's look stylish. Let's look awesome and cool. The remake, Final Fantasy VII remake, does it perfectly. Like respecting the history as well as here's something new, and it works so bloody good. It's the best battle system. But yeah, 13 and 15, like in pursuit of trying to find something, they found nothing because they were trying to appeal to too many people.
I think that's pretty
That's my
fair.
take.
I'm wondering if Final Fantasy 13 might have been like ahead of its time. I wonder if it's aged better than how it was first received back
I'd love
in,
to go back.
I want to say it was like 2012,
Yeah, I think it came out
2011-ish.
2010 if I had to guess, but yeah,
It
it's
was,
around there.
yeah. It will, yeah. That's funnily on my list to play after Final Fantasy 7. So, um, I'll report back and let you know how it's aged.
And I'll be ranting here. How dare
You will be. I'll be like, oh my god, I love it so much. Berto, you're so
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. Me flipping coins as the analogy.
Kerry, what about you? Have you played any you didn't enjoy?
Um, so I think 15 is the answer here.
Yeah.
I've kind of already explained. Like it was kind of just sort of bland in terms of my overall impression. Like it made next to no impression on me, I suppose, and so just like kind of I wasn't really enthused by it in the least, and just fell off it. I think the game that I've sort of I've had the strongest sense of dislike for in the sort of the more modern games that I've got experience with is probably 16, but in like a very uneven way. I feel like 16 has some of the highest highs for the franchise for me, but also some of the lowest lows.
Yeah,
And the way I've always described it is that like it starts with it's such a strong start. I think the first like 10 hours are
Yeah.
like its best hours. And then I feel like the pacing is really off. Like all the side quests are a drag. The writing is not really like there's so much filler. It feels like it's just like this is all so pointless, and it takes so much time. I remember falling asleep on the couch one time playing this, which I don't do very often because I was like, I'm just waiting for the cutscene. I'm just waiting for you to stop talking. Like random
yeah,
character who needs a fish or something. Like I just, but and then part of that's my problem as well because I'm like I see a question mark. I go do it. I have a quest. I'll
Yeah.
do the quest. Like so that
It's
I'm
hard.
sort of setting myself up for that. I should just move on at that point when like so. But I would like it to be worthwhile if it's going to be in there. But yeah, it's sort of this uneven peak where you finally get to this ramp up every 5 or 6 hours of like a new incredible icon battle that are some of the highlights of the entire game. And looking at the game as a whole, it's like I reckon Like the icons are such a huge part of the story. They're a huge part of like Clive's moveset and like how he levels up throughout the game. They're these massive story focal points. Like it all funnels in through the icons. And at some point, it just started feeling like, oh, okay, like I feel like everything has sort of just been put here to get us to the next icon battle. And then there they are, some of the highlights of the game. Like I'll often think back to the Titan fight or the Bahamut fight and like just think maybe I should load up the 4K video of that on YouTube and just watch the 40 minutes of that it is, because
Yeah.
it's such a pure mind-boggling spectacle. It's so fun
Yeah.
to watch.
Mm.
And it was fun to play too. The combat's quite good. But I was so let down by the end that it all sort of balances out into this mid sort of impression for me, where it's like I wouldn't ever say the game's bad. And I think it's got really great parts, but the lows are so disappointing.
I
For
had
me.
that issue with the side quests as well.
pretty fair.
When I reviewed the original game, I think I did point out that the side quests were very dull and uninspired. It was literally just go to this person and then go to that person like 10 meters away and then go back to the first person. And then the DLC came out and I was like, okay, maybe like they have some more interesting side quests just in case they've like listened to player feedback or something. No, just more of that as well.
That was the second time I fell asleep in that game. It was the DLC. I never went back.
Yeah, right.
The Leviathan fight I enjoyed though, so I did like the DLC in that game. And I think Clive is one of the best protagonists we've had for a long time too. And
Yeah, I like the
Sid,
ensemble in 16.
and
Clive and
Sid
Jill
is
are
the best.
awesome. And
Yeah.
Sid.
Yep.
Sidophilus, love him. Yeah. My game is Crisis Core. So okay, so obviously I'm not talking about the story because I love Final Fantasy VII's story. I do not like the gameplay in that game. It feels way too arcadey for me. Yeah, I don't know. It just
Is this the new sort of pseudo remake they did a few years ago?
yeah, the remake, if we want to call it that.
Yeah, well, because they kind of redid the combat to make it more like Rebirth, so it's in a weird middle ground.
Yeah, it still feels too arcadey. I think just the general not gameplay loop, but like it feels very like you're just going through corridors fighting things. Not for me. As like I will probably watch like a YouTube video with all the cutscenes from that game over playing it, which is a shame because I do like Zack Fair, and I want to know more about his story, but I can't because I can't bring myself to play that game.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I wouldn't begrudge anyone for playing for watching the cutscenes instead of playing it. Yeah, and it is funny. It's kind of like, you know, when the Switch came out and we were playing Breath of the Wild and Odyssey that year, and it was like, these are so interesting because there's such an expansion of what these traditional pillars of the industry and of Nintendo franchises have been, you know, their 3D exploration. And it's like, oh, the worlds are so big, but also everything's quite bite-sized. You could do things in 5 minutes. It's like, here's a shrine, that'll be 5 or 10 minutes. I'll go get 2 moons in New Donk City and I can just put it down whenever. And it was all servicing that portable, or rather, it was servicing the need for it to be able to be played portably, picked up, put down whenever. And I could feel that in Crisis Core, even in the remake that wasn't designed for portability necessarily. It's still that's the bones of the game. It's the skeleton of it, and you can't escape it.
Yeah, I agree. We are going to go through. I put down the best Final Fantasy characters, but let's just talk about our favorite ones, which I'm sure we picked anyway. Berto.
I think we have. Oh, I think we just
What you
mentioned
got?
it. Sid from Final Fantasy 16.
Oh,
Unreal, unreal. Like, yeah, the voice acting is perfect. The character's perfect. Completely different to all the other Sids before, where he's just, I don't know if he's annoying, but he's not him. That's for sure.
yeah.
I've got a couple. Auron from Final Fantasy X. I thought he was always mysterious and cool. That sword, like, it's just the mysterious, hermit type character. Like,
And then
I
when he
just loved it.
finally like speaks out towards the end, and he's
Yeah,
finally
Yeah.
letting himself go and like expressing us. Oh man, go on.
that's all right. I got
Thanks, I'm
Kefka
crying now.
from yeah, starts crying in the middle of the pod. Kefka from Final Fantasy 6 is the villain. I think he's my favorite villain in all of them.
I've
That's
heard
all I'll say
that.
because I'm not allowed to talk
Yeah.
about it.
No,
He's the
you're not.
clown. No. I have Fran, the bunny
Mm.
from, I think bunny is the wrong word, but the bunny from Final Fantasy
Um,
12. She's awesome, man. Like, her story as well, from remembering if Final Fantasy 12 was my favorite part of it, and her race and how it integrates into the story. And Final Fantasy 12, like, it's awkward, like I was mentioning it, and there are good parts to it, and they definitely didn't lean in on the strong parts. They just didn't. They
mm,
held back, which was really frustrating. But love the design, love the character. And you see those design characters for that race in like Final Fantasy Tactics as well. Um,
Mm,
then the last one I have is Squall, the main character
yeah.
for Final Fantasy 8. Yeah, just the gunblade. It's just awesome, man. It's just like Auron, just like it looks cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. And sorry, one more before I forget. Probably my favorite is Vivi from Final Fantasy 9, which we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah, I had VV as well. I already spoke about VV. Uh, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. I think he is one of the most iconic and really well developed protagonists of the franchise, especially in remake and rebirth. I really think they've kind of explored his character a lot more than originally, or even in Advent Children, which was the film that came out in the 2000s. Um, I think, yeah, I mean, I've got a giant poster of him on my wall. Like, what can I say? Um, Also from Final Fantasy X, Yuna, um, great character. She's, I mean, you could argue that she is basically the main character in the story of Final Fantasy X. Just her selflessly helping the people of Spira, um,
Mm.
and like I don't want to get into spoilers, but she puts herself above everyone else. And yeah, Lulu as well. One of my favorite black
Uh,
mages. Very
Mm.
stern, very wise. Um, yeah, loved her.
Mm.
Kerry, what about you?
I was trying to whittle it down just then because I was like, man, I really like all of these guys. Like, I think one of the strongest
it's hard.
parts of
It's
this
I
hard.
could have kept
franchise.
going.
Yeah, no, totally, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised you stopped after two.
Like, I think the strongest parts of these games are their ensembles and
Mm.
how these games explore their characters. Is some of the best parts of these games. For me, I sort of picked my favorites from sort of my most favorite games, I suppose.
Mm.
Um, Looking at sort of 7 and 7 remake, uh, which I'm more familiar with than Rebirth. I love Yuffie. I love her character. I love how they've written
Yeah.
her in the new games. I will laugh at what she says 9 times out of 10. I think they've written her really well. I think she's performed
Yeah.
so well. I think she's just actually quite funny a lot of the times. That said, I think the unique strength of remake and rebirth and whatever the next one's going to be is that because they're sort of doing, you know, the thing with the Hobbit trilogy of movies where they're taking the source material and really expanding on it. Each of these characters has been able to explore so fully and given so much room to breathe, and the actors have been given so much material to work with and turn into something. Like Red 13's story and Rebirth is just heartbreaking, and it's done so well. And Barrett's story, I literally can't like pick any single individual character out
Yeah.
above more than the others in terms of their storytelling and development and characterization. I think they're classic for a reason, and they're being treated really well in these games. And I can't wait for the next stuff. But Yuffie makes me laugh the most. I'll always smile when she's goofing around
Even
in the scene.
Sephiroth, like
Yes.
the amount of like how little he was featured in like the first third of the original Final Fantasy VII, I was shocked because I feel like you saw him all the time in remake.
Yes.
A lot, you do.
And I think they were kind of making up for it, right? Because like if they only put him in as many times, it was like, wait, who's gonna be the bad guy?
Yeah. No, Sephiroth, I think we could argue, or not argue, that he's probably one of the best antagonists in video game history, not just Final Fantasy. He's so iconic.
Yep. Yep. 100% agree.
Did you have any more?
Yeah. So I got a couple more here. Lightning, as we were saying before, Lightning just is really cool. Like, always was cool. One of the draws to that series is people saw the trailers for that game. It's like, oh, who's this character with the gunblade and the anti-gravity device? And like, she is really great. And I enjoy her characterization through the game. She's kind of got the Cloud, like, standoffish problem of, like, she's kind of a dick, like, for the first third of that game, and it thaws and she's a bit more enjoyable to sort of watch and like see in the game as it goes on. But Lightning's just has been and always will be cool. And then I also wrote down Yuna in terms of for Final Fantasy X if I had to sort of pick a favorite character. And I think some of the characters are a bit less explored in 10 compared to, say, Remake and Rebirth. Like Riku, for example.
You got her halfway through the game.
Yeah, exactly. And like her, like, it's good that she's there. Like, I'm glad all the characters are there. But like Kamari, you can kind of forget he's there until you get to Mount Gagazet, and then it's his moment. But it's been a while since we've really spoken to Kamari.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that whole unit as a family, all trying to support Yuna as guardians, trying to help her through this impossible task that no one would sign up for except she does. And they all know what it means, and Titus does it, and we don't through him, and we learn what it means as we go, and it's so heartbreaking as we discover that. And they're all heartbroken, and they're doing it anyway. That game's incredible. But yeah, Yuna's I think the character in that game who has the strongest character development. You know, you see her get built up and broken down and push forward through it all anyway. Those would be my picks.
Brilliant. All right, so let's look to the future now. Final Fantasy 17.
Wow.
What do we want to see out of it? There has been obviously some really big RPGs released recently. Expedition 33 is one of the highest rated video games of all time. Metaphor last year reviewed very well. Also has turn-based combat as well. Do we think any of these games will influence Final Fantasy 17 in any way? Kerry, back to you.
Yeah, it's really hard to know because much like Nintendo, if you can hear a noise, my cat's just gonna scream through the house, so ignore that. But much like Nintendo with the Final Fantasy franchise, they tend to try and reinvent themselves, at least partially, with each new experience. And I commend them for it. It's a risky way to build a franchise. But it's also a unique benefit of this sort of being what is ostensibly an anthology series when you think about it.
Yeah.
They can reinvent what it means to be a Final Fantasy game, and they can modernize and adapt and evolve. That being said, I would like what. So what have we had in the last 15 years? We had 13 and the sequels, which I would kind of count as spin-offs.
Yeah.
We had 14, which is kind of like its own thing. We had 15, which sort of tried to lead a bit harder into the active time action. We've got 7 remake and rebirth, which I think we've all agreed today, like nail the sweet spot in terms of like action, tactics, strategy. 16 did this Devil May Cry hybrid situation, which was fun. It wore on me a bit. I don't think I don't think it carried me through the whole experience. And so with all of that in mind, I'd kind of love to see what they could do with a slower, more turn-based situation. How they could innovate in that space now as the sort of the genesis of that in the entire genre from like 40 years ago. Like they were one of the first people to do turn-based combat. So I would love to see what they could do in a more traditional setting to make it interesting, make it familiar. I mean, it's a tightrope act, right? Like how do you possibly? But I would love to see what they could do in that space now. Me personally.
Yeah. I do have some thoughts from a listener, Miss Ragnarok, who said, I wouldn't be surprised if Final Fantasy XVII goes back to the turn-based combat route. This wouldn't be just because of the success of Expedition 33, but even from Metaphor last year. Do I want the Claire Obscure combat to be replicated, though? No. I loved the combat system, but I don't need it in other RPGs unless it's going to contribute something new to the table. I feel Claire Obscure have set a new standard expectation for other RPG developers, though, with being able to set up a fantastic story, world building, and characters while only being a roughly 45-hour game, including side content. The one thing I do hope Final Fantasy XVII takes away from Claire Obscure is you can create a fantastic world without overloading it with bloat.
Yeah.
I actually agree with everything
That's a
she
great comment.
said. Yeah. Yeah, so I agree. I wouldn't want the combat to be copy pasted from Expedition 33, even though that's probably in my top 5 games of all time now. But like it's not like Final Fantasy to copy other ideas. They're usually
They don't.
going back to their like Nintendo, they just do whatever they want. They're in their own lane. They don't care what other people think. I would also agree that I do want it to be a slower pace combat. I did enjoy Final Fantasy 16, but I did say that I don't want another Final Fantasy like that combat wise. It's just felt very less Final Fantasy in combat. Like the world itself and the characters all felt very Final Fantasy. It's just the combat didn't really that much. I'm all for like big spectacle boss fights like that, but I don't want to do button mashing to that extent in a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with turn-based wise. I think Final Fantasy X has the best turn-based system. Like having that list of like the order of how characters are gonna attack and hovering over like slow or haste and it moves the order up or down depending who you're using it on. I think that's just great, and I would like to see something similar to that. I don't think they will do that, but I do hope it's slower, or honestly, I wouldn't be mad if it was similar to Remake and Rebirth as well. Berto, what about you? What do you want to see from 17?
Pretty much what was already being discussed. That's the bad thing about going last in these, because you guys say so many great points, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, you're right. And Miss Ragnarok is also right. So I looked at it in terms of numbers, business, because money talks in this industry specifically. video
Oh,
games.
especially for Square Enix, right? With all of their expectations.
Yes.
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 Expectations. So I did a bit of research, which is unlike me because I wing things. I mentioned that earlier. So Final Fantasy 16 from March 25 sold 3.5 million. Right?
That's not a lot, is it?
No. So the last party-based Final Fantasy game was 15. And that was how many years ago now? Like
That was 2015 or 2016.
so 8 years?
9. Yeah.
9. Yeah.
Yeah. So Metaphor sold 1 million in 24 hours. Dragon Quest 11, 7 million.
Whoa, I
Pixel
didn't know it did
Remaster
that well.
allegedly outsold. So by the way, the Pixel Remaster is the way you two should play Final Fantasy 6.
Oh, I
Oh, yeah.
will be. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that outsold Final Fantasy 16. So for me, it goes back to my big comment and rant around identity. They have lost it completely, and I think the only way they're going to get it back, to be perfectly honest, is to actually try to connect with people like us who love the past and appreciate it for what it is, but also give it a bit of a new age spin. How that looks like is exactly what the listener said. It can't be what everyone else is doing. Bring something new to the table,
Yeah.
but don't give us what hasn't worked because you've done that for the last 10 plus years now. You know
I
what I mean? Like
I
you've
do
experimented
think
enough.
I think Expedition 33 did do that. I think they brought back the turn-based combat like RPG lovers really want, and they did put a spin on it, or like with the like timed parries and dodges. I think
Hmm.
they've they nailed it. That if there was a combat system that I'd want most RPGs to have, it would be Expedition 33's. Granted, I'm bad at parrying and dodging, so I don't want it that much, but I do think it's one of the best combat systems of an RPG outside of traditional turn-based.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it can be completely traditional. I think Dragon Quest is that for Square Enix. That's their
Mm,
traditional kind of like moment,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
they
But
haven't
like, if
really
we look
ever
back to
deviated.
no, but they sell like crazy, and they're
They
great
do.
games. I love Dragon Quest. So just with the Final Fantasy VII, the remakes and the rebirth, like it needs to be something like that, but it needs to be a complete story, and I think that's the biggest problem as well. They haven't
Yeah.
really released a complete beginning to end party based story that makes you feel or has some sort of characters and party members that you fall in love with. Like that's what
Yeah.
it needs to go back to. So I put a little note here. It needs to be kind of like Final Fantasy 9, where it's like
Mm,
complete story. Fall in love with these characters. They're iconic for a reason. Or Final Fantasy 10 even. Just
mm,
give it a bit of a spin.
Mm.
Just a
I
little
think
bit. So
I
yeah.
think that's a great point, Berto, because when you put it that way and you look at the games that came after with 12, 13, 15 and 16, while they all have great characters and interesting worlds and sort of aesthetics and stuff like that,
Mm.
it's hard for most, if not all of those games I just mentioned, to really focus on like what's the plot, like what
yeah.
what
Yes.
happens in
Yes.
those games,
Yeah.
and why is it important to the characters, and why is it like the through line weaving it all together. It's done really well. We've got such an interesting comparison with the remaster, rather with rebirth and remake,
Mm,
because
Yeah.
they've taken the bones of one of the best games of all time, right? And one of the foundational stories of the medium. And then they've fleshed it out and made it stronger in some ways. And it was like it's so tempting to just like point at that and be like, do something like that, but new.
mm,
Easy, right?
Yeah.
But there seems to be something in terms of bringing all of these threads together in a cohesive way to pull the whole game forward, pull the mechanics and the characters and the world building and the environments, build it all together and pull it into this one story that drives the whole thing. I think that's really been missing from all of these more modern entries in the last 20 years almost.
Yeah.
I actually agree. And now that you pointed that out, you're right. Like, I couldn't tell you the plot of anything of those games that I've played past 10. Like,
I had that thought sort of crystallized for me before when
yeah.
Berto said, like, who's the bad guy of 13? And I was like, it's kind of not about a bad guy until the very end. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very interesting. They really need to like focus and hone on. I don't want to bring Kingdom Hearts into this, but like I feel like that kind of has a hard to follow story too. um
Yeah. But
to some
the
extent.
designer Nomura is part of the Kingdom Hearts world, and I think
Yeah.
he brings that influence, unfortunately, in, where I'm like, bro, stay away. And that's probably why they brought in the Final Fantasy 14 director. What's his name?
Yoshi P.
Yoshi
Yeah,
P.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
into 16, which is like just do a simple story from beginning to end, and get to the point. And I think
But the
that
issue
was
with
the
that
like
was
ground it down.
the
They
side
took it
quests
too
in
far.
that game were like one you would
Like,
find in
yeah,
an MMO.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the barometer again shifted, so it went from one extreme to the other. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
guys, just bring it back to the middle. Like,
Yeah.
Find a balance.
you're
Like
nearly there.
the whole fan base talks about everything 10 and prior. So wouldn't, if they were that worried about uh sales and performance of games, you would think they would try to emulate some of their older work. But then you got to think how many of those people that created those games are still working in games too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
No, neither do I. I do think it is important to point out Tetsuya Nomura, sort of his big breakout was 7. So he's kind of been
Yes.
riding that breakout ever since. So, it's hard to always figure out, because I think he's done the main designs for the Final Fantasy games, maybe not the MMOs, but I think he's done the main designs for all of the characters, at least for all of
Yeah.
them ever since. Even if he's just done the art for the character and then he focuses on Kingdom Hearts the rest of the week or whatever.
Mm,
But like, it's
yeah.
so he's pretty linked in with it at the moment. And you're right, you look at Nomura and you think Kingdom Hearts and you think like the ending of Final Fantasy 7 remake, and like your head starts to spin, and it's like, maybe
Yeah.
maybe just give this guy a pen and don't give him a keyboard. But like
Yeah.
Pretty
but
much.
also, like, the ending of 7 remake's really fun because of how kooky it is. Like, it's fun that they
Yeah.
take big swings at it. I don't know what the right answer is.
No.
But that's the thing, like they have that channel to do their kookiness, so that you've got Kingdom Hearts do the crazy stuff. So you've got the pendulum here, right? So if you're trying to appease a certain audience, you've got it. You don't need one brand to try to get it all, because there is something for someone if you want it. If I want a traditional one, I'll go Dragon Quest. If I want to understand sweet F all, I'll play Kingdom Hearts. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we probably won't get Final Fantasy 17 for a very long time. I'd say at least 20, 30, maybe longer than that.
Yeah.
what if they make the third Final Fantasy 17? So you know how like 7 goes into 17, right? So they do
Oh,
that. So they do a
no.
reveal,
Don't give
and then
them
at the end it's like,
ideas.
no, what if they do it? I'm just telling you. How funny would that be?
You know they listen to the podcast. Stop
And it would be
it.
like Final Fantasy 17 is the end of all the others. So there you go.
That
If that
is
happens,
that's
we'll come back.
some next level. Or like they rename it at the end of the game. Like it's like you beat the final boss, and right before credits it like gives you the title, and then they add an
Yeah.
X on the front of it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's going to happen.
Well,
I'm telling you.
you heard it here first.
Oh, that would be so funny.
Okay, so I did not put this in the show notes, but I do have a quick question. A rapid fire question, if you will. Which Final Fantasy game would you like to have a prequel or sequel of?
Oh, that's such a good question.
Prequel or sequel?
I love how I
Ah,
have this written down on my sheet, but I haven't thought about it either. um,
Prequel or a sequel?
oof.
I think 12 for me.
Mm,
That's a good one.
Just because I really like that world, and I think it's sort of, again, it's that sort of like the characters are decent. What's the plot of that game? But I would love to spend a bit more time in that world. Like, even give me like a Jedi Starfighter type game in that. Like, give me something weird in that world. I'll take it. Although Tactics is in the same universe, I think, as
Yeah.
12. So like
yes.
maybe I should
Yeah.
just
It
play
is.
that. But yeah, I want to spend more time in 12's world.
Mm. Birdo.
Do a prequel to 8.
Okay.
Because without spoilers, I don't know if you're ever going to get to it. Like, there's a lot of like traveling through time,
Mm.
and so like they've got
Mm.
the bare bones, the skeleton of what that could look like already. So it's much easier to expand on it. But I'm a huge sucker for anything with like time. Like Ocarina of Time, like even watching Lost and all that sort of nonsense. Things that you
Yeah,
go, what? Yeah.
I'm right with you,
So
Birdo.
I love the idea of trying to expose that a little bit further. Final Fantasy
Mm.
8.
Well, I'm gonna be boring, and I'm just gonna say a sequel to Final Fantasy X, but like redone
Not 10 too.
properly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know how that would look though, because like Yuna wouldn't have Aeons anymore either, and I don't know. But I just want to experience that world, or maybe something like adjacent to Spira. Like maybe I don't want to walk through Spira again. Maybe there's another world. Maybe we go to Zanakin. I don't know. The future Zanakin. I don't know. I mean, the past Zanakin. I don't know. It's all too confusing, but I just love that world so much. And like, I would say 9, but I don't think a prequel or a sequel would make any sense there. And then 15 and 16, I could do without. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think, yeah, that is it for our big Final Fantasy discussion. Does anyone have any other points they want to make? Oh, I do want to
I can.
shout out. We have not mentioned these two characters this whole time. Chocobos and Moogles.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
We need to
point. Yeah.
appreciate them, right?
I forgot about that, to be honest. Completely.
Iconic. Iconic.
They are.
Cactois. Also iconic. Tonberries, also iconic.
I was
Yeah,
at Woolies the
absolutely.
other day, and there
Mm.
was this yellow card. Couldn't quite make the model of it, and bright yellow, and the what do you call it, license plate was Chocobo.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
Yeah, so I egged it. Nah, I didn't egg it. But it'd be funny if I did.
I don't know why I've decided. You said Chocobo, and I was reminded of this. Did any of you play the Final Fantasy collaboration with Assassin's Creed Origins in 2017?
No. No.
It
I
was
don't think so.
bizarre. It was in both games.
Yeah.
I think it was either 15 or 14 that they collaborated with, but that was the one set in ancient Egypt of Assassin's Creed,
Mm.
and I didn't know this was happening until I was like doing this random like in-game event, and I came out of it with a chocobo skinned mount. But in that game, you ride camels, so it's a four-legged chocobo camel mount. It's one of the
Yeah,
most
right.
heinous things I've seen. It's so awkward and gross.
You know, sometimes they just cross over things for the hell of it, even if they don't make
Yeah.
sense.
Well, Monster
Um,
Hunter's the next one. So
yeah, but that kind
Yeah,
of
true.
makes sense. I think that makes sense in that world. The chocobos look like they're straight from a Monster Hunter game anyway.
Yeah, it's a good point. A lot of people do just call them chocobos.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much iconography that's a part of that game. And like you were saying before, Berto, like with how they use all the summons and all the summon names and like the recurring characters of Sid and stuff like that. It's just those little details for fans to
Yep.
be like, oh, look at that one. That's fun. Like, it's nothing more than that most of the time, and that's great. It's not like
It
a
is
big
great. I love it when they do that.
multiversal- Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It is time for the next play game corner. This is our weekly game show where we quiz the other panelists on various types of games. We have trivia, name the game, through screenshots, music, everything.
Yep.
This week I'm hosting, so we are playing Name the Game with some audio. I will be playing some Final Fantasy battle themes, and you need to tell me what game they are from. Rules are you let the whole theme play first, and then whoever is first saying their name once it finishes and gives me the correct answer gives me the point. I do have 5
Okay.
here, so if there is some sort of tiebreaker, I have enough to go through. It is first to no, it is best of 3. Sorry, no, it
Best
is
of 3.
first to 3. First to 3. That's right.
I'm
All
sorry
right,
for
are we
being
ready?
competitive, by the way, Gary.
Oh, that's okay. I'm game. Although if it's
Good.
from one through 9, I might not get it.
He's a youngie like you, so it's all going to be modern. You'll see.
All right, first one.
Gary,
Harry.
that is Final Fantasy 16.
It is Final Fantasy 16. Well
Yeah,
done.
right. I'm competitive until I'm losing, and then I'm about
Then it's like, don't worry about it.
yeah,
I
I'm
get
like,
that.
no, it's all yours now. I give up.
All right, the second Final Fantasy game.
Carrie.
Carrie.
Oh,
So
That-
close.
that of course is Final Fantasy 10.
It is
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 10. Well
Damn,
done.
man.
Iconic. Sorry, I
ahead.
cut it off at the good part too.
I was sitting there like, I've got it. I'm just like, I'm waiting for silence.
All right, third game.
Birdo.
Birdo.
I actually don't know this one. I think it's Final Fantasy 9.
It isn't Final Fantasy 9.
Oh,
That is
no, that was my
incorrect.
guess too.
It does sound. I think Final Fantasy 9 is very heavily based off what I just played.
All right, I'm gonna say Carrie, and I'm gonna just say 5.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
The floor is back open.
Okay.
Cripes.
Birdo.
Birdo.
I'm going to say 4.
It is not Final Fantasy 4.
Okay.
Say
So we're just going to go.
Carrie.
Carrie.
I'm gonna say 3.
It is not Final Fantasy 3.
Oh no.
All
Birdo.
right. So it's below 9, so it's just a guessing game now. 7.
It is not 7. Carrie.
I'm gonna say 2.
It is not Final Fantasy 2.
What?
Birdo.
Yeah, right. It can't be 6. Doesn't sound like it. It's so going to be 6, isn't it? Is it Final Fantasy 1?
It is Final Fantasy 1. Well done.
No way!
You literally guessed all of them except 6 before 10.
I thought I would recognize that. I've heard it before. Huh. Oh well,
Yes.
that was funny.
All right, we have your 4th Final Fantasy game.
Carry.
Better.
I think I heard Kerry first.
Oh, come on. So close.
That's 13.
It
Yeah,
is 13.
is.
Well done.
One of the best themes. That whole soundtrack.
really
I know I
is.
said it already, but
And I agree. The only good thing. But
All right, well, Kerry, you have one, but we still have one more that we'll play just for fun.
Mhm.
This is the last game.
all right.
Carry.
Better.
Kerry.
Oh no!
It's
Are we
so
on a
close.
delay? I wonder.
We are. We are.
Man, that's 7 remakes. Goodness,
It is. I left the most iconic for last.
I got goosebumps
Yeah, it's so good.
listening to that.
Well, recapping the leaderboard, Kerry has given Guest an extra 3 points, and they are now on 8 points from 5. They were on 5 for quite a while, so well done, Kerry.
Oh, nice.
Jamie is in 3rd place on 20 points, and Berto, you and I, on the top on 21 points.
I only got to do 1 point a week. That's all I got to do to win.
It's a close score.
It
It
is.
is.
It is very close.
I'm glad I did my part to balance out the bottom end here as well for the guests.
You are.
Yeah.
You're catching up
Thank you.
quite slowly, but you're getting there.
Also, can I just say, I know we
Yes.
said it already, but having just heard it for a second there, how special is 7 Remakes soundtrack that they put
It
together for
is.
that game?
It's so
Yeah, man.
good.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. And something that I'm just going on a complete rant
That's
now.
fine.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, go.
the something that made it even clearer to me how special it was playing 16, which also has a great soundtrack. I really like that game soundtrack, but something that 16 doesn't do that Remake and Rebirth does is they have the battle themes and the boss music in particular be quite dynamic to the phases of the boss and the environments that you're in. They change dramatically as you go through the game seamlessly, and they amp up, and it's tied in with the cutscenes and the action and the dialogue. Whereas 16 just has the song starts and it's on loop until the battle ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, the music's so good; it's not that big a deal.
is
But I was
very
like,
good.
I wanted it to be as good as 7 Remake, and it wasn't quite, because 7 Remake is just so good.
Yeah. The Genova track, that's the one that got
Yes.
me. I was like, yeah, this is a special game. As soon as
Yep.
it hit that old school tune, and I was like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's too good.
And like how many times they redo the battle theme, and it's good every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could keep talking about how
I
special the
wanna play
music
it
is,
now.
but I did see, like, when I was playing those tracks, like, all of our faces would light up when I played them. You had a very big smile on your face during that last one, Kerry.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
That's so funny. I was so concentrated. I wasn't paying attention. That's really funny.
All right. Well, that is the end of this episode of the Next Play podcast. Kerry, thanks again for joining us. I hope you had fun talking about Final Fantasy for 100 minutes.
Oh, the most fun. This was a hoot. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget you can catch all of our content at next-play.com.au. You can also check out the Minimap AU, Minimap cast, Minimap something.
Yeah, we've got the Minimap cast, which is our main sort of thing that we make as our podcast. It's a bit less regular than it used to be, but it's still there. And you can find everything that we've ever done on Minimap on minimap.com.au. We've also just started a couple of months ago sort of an MCU history podcast. Jeremy's been just poring over books and articles and the Wayback Machine and putting together a really comprehensive tale of like the making of those movies in a very factual and unsanitized way, because Disney's they've got quite a narrative to tell you these days.
Yes.
And Jeremy's quite keen to find the way it actually happened. So we've got 2 episodes of that out now. It's a bit research intensive, so it's coming out a bit slower. But yeah, if you're interested in the MCU at all, have a consider giving that a listen. It's called Box of Scraps.
Box of Scraps.
Yeah, right.
I'll give that a listen too. All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
See ya.